Hello everyone, this is my Unit 2 vlog, and I just have some notes here for today's session. This unit was honestly very appealing to me, especially because not only do I do this type of work in my high school setting, but I also do a lot of informal learning, actually teaching what are known as au pairs. This actually happens once a month. I get to go back to my alma mater, College of St. Rose, and I get to do little workshops once a month with au pairs that need college credits. Basically, how this works out is that it's a workshop style weekend course, and they take 6 different sessions, and then they have a homework assignment to complete after that. But one of the workshops that I teach in that class is music appreciation, culture, and performance. And so, even this not being some sort of curriculum that I've developed for a year-long type of thing, it's just one workshop. It still involves this idea of informal learning. Basically, what I do is we have a little bit of a discussion on the appreciation side of music, but then on the other side, now we create and we learn how to be performers, and then we actually perform. And so what I do is I split them up into groups, and I say, instead of instruments, we do have our voice, and we do have our hands and snaps and things like that, keeping beat and pulse. And so I tell them basically just to have fun with it. And the assignment is to pick a song, and they're going to scratch the lyrics, rewrite lyrics, keep the same melody, explain what melody is, and if they want to add anything, they get extra points. It's really fun. It's a volunteer type of workshop idea. It's only about an hour and a half, but it still has those same concepts of informal learning incorporated into that. Moving parallel to that is the lab band class that I teach at my high school. And this class, we do exactly what Musical Future does. And the kids are so receptive of it. It's a class that I didn't necessarily create, but came into within the years of development of it. We don't necessarily have a curriculum. We're actually working on that as time goes on, because we just got a new director of curriculum, and we just had a meeting about this yesterday from 8 to 3. And so this is all very relevant. It's all applying to what I am doing, or what I have done, and what I am going to do in the future. So everything is nicely tying up, and it's really cool because I do a hybrid of formal and informal learning in the lab band class, but I don't necessarily just do informal learning in the lab band setting. It's I do have to kind of walk around and make sure that the class is on task, and that cell phones are not a distraction. But I don't necessarily need to model as much as I thought I would. A lot of the kids that are in the class, they do have some experience. They might have beginner experience, but they do have that at least. And so it makes for a nice differentiation of instruction type of model and integration. Being able to put expert players that are even beyond me with beginners, and seeing how the collaboration works. What I really liked about the Musical Futures is that everyone in the video looked genuine, and they looked happy, and they were collaborating all together. There was proof of that. There was learning. But there was this one frame where I think it was two girls, they were holding bases, but on their lap, and it was flat. And it was something that, for me, I would have went and corrected immediately. But during, the lecture notes, maybe not doing that, not being able to pick up the base. That's some form of informal learning that I can learn from. And that, does it really make a difference in that setting? Not necessarily. I would be able to wait a couple of weeks and see if anything had changed on its own. And so I really did like seeing that, that you can have an hands-off approach to the learners and just let them play. I think that this unit was really structured very nicely. I did learn a lot more detail from the Green Book as far as informal learning. I do incorporate a lot of that in the lab band, but now by reading the pedagogy and how it's useful in the sense of that the learners are learning by themselves, but they're still creating and connecting and responding and performing. I think I want to incorporate this into my concert band setting as well, and I'm trying to piece this together in some sort of way, in some way that I read in the Free to Be musical, which is the Be Free event, and that would allow for more creating aspect as far as following the new standards from New York State. We don't do enough of the creating in concert band setting. It's more of performing, responding, and connecting. And so this event of just letting the unconscious literally be free, let the kids create on their own. There's no right or wrong. It's a win-win in this sense, and then start with that broad question: what is music? And see how the development, the creating, begins to structure itself, just from nothing into something. I really want to try to experiment with that, and I really liked reading about that event and how it could be successful. So I think altogether this unit really did apply to me a lot. There was things that I did know that I definitely want to integrate more of. There's things that I didn't know that I want to integrate more of. There's things that I can relate to in all facets of teaching, even when I'm giving private lessons. Now I have this more this whole nother chapter open, because I feel like in undergrad it is a lot of pressure with the formal teaching and making sure that everything's okay and that you model and that the student is receptive, and then you assess that and you see if you can move on or if you have to stay where you are. And in this case, it allows for the child to do that at their own pace, at their own speed. And so it unlocked something. And reading from detail the musical futures, as I'm chunking that huge resource pack, just has so much, so many things that I do, but I haven't done to the degree of quality, and that I haven't assessed myself. And that's what I'm learning, is that when I'm reading this material, I'm finding that I'm doing it, but I'm not proving that I'm doing it. And so this is where it is very helpful for me. So thank you again for this unit. It's really cool. And just a suggestion for some, if you're going to try this starting of a band and let them cover a song, it's a phenomenal part of a unit. But if you want to go farther, I did do a project with my lab band students where they picked a song and then they would study that song. They would learn the lyrics, learn what it was about, learn the history of the band or artist, and then perform that song. But then a week later, I would have them start studying a different genre and cover that song in that new genre. So you would have something of a pop song, but played in a funk type of style. And it caused for a lot of great ways for the students to not only collaborate in class, but to do their own research outside of class and to look up different genres on their own time, because technology has proven that we can do just about anything at any time. So it was a huge success. I just called it the genre project. I'm still trying to piece together, where I want this type of project in my curriculum. Now studying the backwards design as well, and actually being able to write the curriculum. So it was a really great project. But if any of you can do some sort of lab band class and really get the students to do that informal learning, it does prove to be just as effective, even more effective than formal learning. Thank you again, and I hope you guys have a great weekend.